So LeBron asks, can you explain what frame is? Because that's the concept that I struggle with the most. So all frame is what mindset are you coming from? So you may have noticed that you have good and bad days. So on a good day, maybe your frame is that, hey, I'm the most confident, I'm the most dominant person in this social interaction. And on a bad day, your frame is going to be coming from this place of like, oh, life sucks. And, I screw everything up and people don't like me and all this kind of stuff. So what mindset are you currently coming from? How are you seeing the world right now? So if frame is mindset, obviously what we want is our frame to be rooted in our deepest, most core confidence. Now, if you go out to the club, you're going to see a lot of people's confidence rooted in this idea that they look good. So what they've done is they put on their cool shirt that they just bought. They've got their clean white shoes on, blah, 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 blah. Hey, I'm looking good. And that's where their confidence comes from, or alcohol or whatever. And that's where they're coming from. But conversely, you could have somebody go into the club and, maybe they're an MMA fighter. They've got 10 fights under their belt. They've won 8 of them. They work out all the time. They've got a really cool social circle that they know from the gym. Maybe they have a hot girlfriend or whatever. And they go out to the club and now they're interacting from this place of non-neediness and from the place that they know if somebody started shit with them that they're going to win and all this kind of stuff. And that deep, congruent core confidence is going to win out over something like rooted in aesthetics or something more fragile. It's going to win out every time. So the better question here is not what frame is, because frame is just like your mindset, but how can I strengthen my frame so that way when identities are clashing, because that's what's going on in a social situation, right? You've got 2 different people that ideally want to be the dominant person in that social interaction, especially if you're out in the club or, interacting around women or whatever. How do I emerge as the dominant person in that social interaction? Especially if you're on a date, right? You want to be the dominant person on that date because you want that girl to be submissive to you. So there's lots and lots of ways of having a really strong frame. So the first thing is, before you go out, spend time accessing positive reference experience in your brain. In other words, thinking about all the successes that you've ever had, either with girls or at parties or maybe just in life, and remembering that stuff before you have to go out and perform. So another great way is just staying aware. So if you're in a social interaction and somebody's, like they're trying to get you to qualify yourself, maybe they're like, hey man, how often do you go to the gym? And they're asking you like in this kind of smirky way where they want you to say something dumb. And rather than to answer that question straight up, you stay in your frame of you are the awesome one. In other words, you won't even answer that question because you can tell what they're doing, which is trying to get you to qualify yourself. So the last things I'll say about having a great frame is set up a really, really cool life. Invest in it daily and build that so your core confidence is really strong. And lastly, don't engage in negative self-talk. Flush out all negative experience and only hang on to the positive.